The Suns signed Tyus Jones to a 1-year, $3 million deal. Is this officially the first L for Will Dawkins? Maybe, but we are secure at point guard, but it does lead to a broader issue in Washington. Next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again. I hope everybody had a blessed and safe weekend, and I appreciate you guys making our first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. And tonight's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. And again, everybody, Tyus Jones officially signs in free agency, signing a 1-year, $3 million deal with the Phoenix Suns. And obviously, this appears to be the first L under the Will Dawkins era. But there's a couple of different perspectives to kind of look at this move. And are we good at point guard? I believe we are. But it does lead to a broader issue in the nation's cap. So we're going to talk about that, talk about the future of point guard, and look at Bilal Coulibaly and wonder, is his performance against Brazil indicative of what his progress was this offseason, or is there still hope for him to kind of break out in the Olympics? So let's start with Tyus Jones. Now, Tyus Jones has signed a 1-year, $3 million deal with the Phoenix Suns, pairing him with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and former Wizard Bradley Beal, and amongst others like Monte Morris. The list goes on with former Wizards who are playing in Phoenix. Now, looking at from the perspective of the Phoenix Suns, they finally got the point guard. Now, I'm not going to get too much into the makeup of the roster or what their potential starting five could be, but biggest issue with all the talent they have in Phoenix is not having an official starting point guard. And I think that not only with Tyus and Monte, which is the weird couple of combo guys to be playing with Bill and Phoenix, but they got their guy. Looking at it from the perspective of the Wizards, right? Looking at the Kristaps Porzingis trade. Okay, let's look at it from a couple of different perspectives. Number one, yes, we didn't get anything for Tyus Jones. And you can officially say that. Could you throw that as an L for Will Dawkins as far as the Kristaps Porzingis trade? Yeah, I mean, yes and no. And then the reason I say that is yes, on the perspective on the side of the coin, which is we didn't get any assets back for Tyus Jones. I believe last year, there were reports, even though some people say that the reports weren't true, but there were reports that teams like Minnesota were offering 4 second-round picks. Other teams were offering 2 second-round picks, but they held on to him, and he walked for free, which is something that I kind of indicated in past videos, which is you need to prepare yourself for the prospect of him walking for free. Yeah, I do believe that Will Dawkins did the best he could with trying to sign and trade Tyus Jones, but I believe that there was always the real threat or the real possibility also that he could walk for nothing, and very well that's what he did. So is this an L for Will Dawkins? Yes and no. The reason I say no as opposed to yes, and I gave him my reasons for yes, but look, as opposed to that, why do I say no? Well, I mean, if you look at Kristaps Porzingis, he was going to walk for nothing. And this is actually, he was going to walk for nothing. So if you look at the scope of that, we really didn't gain anything, yes, but we really didn't lose anything, because it kind of leads into my next point, which is we're going to talk about it, but I think we are good at point guard, where you can kind of look at it as addition by subtraction. Now, Tyus Jones, good point guard, came in here, played really good 1 year, showed he could be that floor general that we needed, a guy who, perfect for a rebuild, perfect for a contender, perfect for a team that needs a piece to go make a playoff push, a guy who's looking to get other people involved first, a distributor, a guy where if you look at his assist to turnover ratio, elite numbers. So he's definitely a floor general point guard, a savvy veteran, point guard that, Phoenix, he's going to play well in Phoenix, in my opinion. But, for the Wizards, it opens up the door for what? Jordan Poole to be the starting point guard, which I think is the best decision for the Washington Wizards long-term going forward. And then you have what? Bob Carrington. And like I said, I'm going to talk about the future point guard in a minute. But so like I said, did he officially get his first L in the Will Dawkins era? Yes and no. Obviously you want to get some kind of, whether it's draft or, player assets back for Tyus Jones. And yes, the best time to move him was at the deadline last year, which leads into the broader issue here is, and the question for everybody tonight is, do the Washington Wizards overvalue their players? And I believe they do. I think that they tend to overvalue their players. And I say in time and time again, not only with Tyus Jones, but looking at Kyle Kuzma, but looking at Bradley Beal, even Kristaps Porzingis, which is in the case of Bradley Beal, we waited too long to move him. We got a crap package because we waited too long to make that move, especially with the no trade clause. We really limited what we could have done. The Supermax really limited what we have done with him. If you look at Kyle Kuzma and looking at Tyus Jones, do we overvalue our guys? Yes, I think the market has told us what the true value of Tyus Jones was. The market has has shown us what the true value of Kyle Kuzma is. The market has shown that Bradley Beal, in signing to a Supermax and signing him, giving him a no trade clause, was probably one of the worst decisions the general manager has made in the history of the NBA. And looking at Kristaps Porzingis, we had no leverage, and that's what I'm saying. That you could say it's an L, even though I think overall Will Dawkins has done an immaculate job. He's done a great job. Now, am I willing to let him catch an L or two? Yeah, because there's going to be mistakes made. In the position he's in right now, he's going to have to flip a lot of these veteran contracts, and eventually he's going to have to start properly a youth movement in DC. But he's got to flip some of these contracts, and that get back to the point, which is we overvalue our guys. Have we reached the zenith of the value of Kyle Kuzma? I believe we have. I believe the asking price should be brought down to 1 first-round pick and maybe a young player in return or an expiring contract. But I think that the asking price has to come down because I do believe that we're overvaluing Kyle Kuzma and his trade value. I think that we definitely overvalued Tyus Jones, and then we should have grabbed a couple of second-round picks to call it a day. A couple of second-round picks, maybe a young player, but we overvalued him. We blinked, and the market value of Tyus Jones was. The market, looking at the deadline with us, almost trading Kyle Kuzma, looking at the market this offseason, the NBA market, as far as the fellow executives in the NBA, are telling us that they don't value Kyle Kuzma, they don't value Tyus Jones, they don't value certain pieces we have here in DC like we do. And like I said, going all the way back to Bradley Beal, we overvalued him. We paid him as a 1. He was a second or a third. Let's be real. And we gave him, an amenity in his contract that nobody had at the time, which is a no trade clause. So again, we massively overvalued Bradley Beal. We paid him as a number 1 option. We paid him as a franchise player, and he at best is a second or third option on a team that's challenging for the playoffs. So we overvalue him. Kristaps Porzingis, that was a good move though, in my opinion, to acquire him. But did we get the best value? No. But it goes back to the point where is it really totally a loss? I'm gonna say no, because we didn't gain anything. Yes, and I definitely understand that. And like I said, that's one part that you don't like about this move. But we didn't lose anything either. He was very well was going to walk for free anyways. And if you look at what's going on with point guard, we had a log jam anyways, not only with Jordan Poole, Bub Carrington, and Jared Butler, but we have Malcolm Brogdon, who very well could play the 2 guard. We'll see what the vision is as far as the starting 5 from Brian Keith as far as Jordan Poole, because I think a lot of people agree with me that he needs to be the point guard. I don't think he's best served at the 2 guard. I think the ball needs to be in his hands. I think the fact that we're trying to be a team who attacks in transition, a faster team, those are all reasons why you need to start Jordan Poole at point guard. And like I said, I'm going to get more into the future of point guard, man, because I think that right now we have the present and the future at point guard for the Washington Wizards. And I think that, yes, getting nothing for Tyus Jones is an L to a certain degree, yes. But for, if you're looking at KP, he was going to walk for nothing. And I think we all knew that the possibility of Tyus Jones walking for nothing was a very real possibility. And if you're surprised by it, then, I wouldn't be so surprised, because the possibility of him walking away for nothing, for no trade or draft assets in return, man, was a very real possibility. And, we went eye to eye with the market and we blinked. And yes, you can kind of call this an L, but I'm willing to give him an L or 2 because he's done a good job so far, very early in the rebuild. And like I said, it's going to be a while till you can really judge Will Dawkins and Michael Winger and Travis Schlenk on the rebuild, because we have many years to go before, A, we see a lot of fruitation of these young players. B, C, did we win or truly lose with a lot of these trades or free agent acquisitions? So I think there's a lot of time before we can properly judge Will Dawkins. I think there's a long time before we can even judge him. But is it an L? Yeah, but it's a necessary L. It's like collateral damage in war, right? Nobody wants civilian deaths, but in war, and he was collateral damage in this situation where you don't want to lose Tyus Jones for nothing, but then the possibility of him walking for nothing was very real. Look at the KP trade. He was going to walk for nothing anyways, and you can look at it as a situation where it's actually addition by subtraction. It opens the door officially for Jordan Poole to take over the starting point guard position. You got Malcolm Brogdon, who could be the two guard. We'll see. But he's also a mentor to both Jordan Poole and Jared Butler and Bub Carrington. And, Bub Carrington is going to be able to, you're going to be able to free up minutes in the second unit, with Jared Butler. And, we're going to see what the minutes, distribution is going to be between Jared Butler and Bub Carrington. It's going to be very interesting to see how that is on the second unit. But it opens the door officially for JP13 to be the next starting point guard for the Washington Wizards. So, like I said, addition by subtraction. Definitely one in which Tyus Jones, all the blessings and luck in the world of Phoenix. Definitely chase that ring. Thank you for your service here in DC. But right now, the time has started for JP13 to be the next starting point guard for the Washington Wizards. So, what is the future at point guard for the Washington Wizards? We're going to talk about that next. And then we're going to look at Bilal Coulibaly. Very limited action in Olympics. Is this an indicator of what to expect as far as progression this offseason? Or is there a lot to expect this season with Bilal Coulibaly? We're going to talk about that and more next. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by Gametime. So look, as you guys know, I go to games all the time. Right now it's baseball season. So, officially this year I've been to a lot of baseball games so far. And I always go to around 6 or 7 a year. Went to my first away game this year in Pittsburgh at PNC Park. That was a good experience. But I have an experience going through all the ticket apps. And to me, Gametime's the best. And it's 3 main reasons why. Well, I'm going to tell you. Number one, last minute deals. You can save up to 60% off buying last minute tickets, not only for sporting events for Major League Baseball, football, basketball, but for concerts, comedy shows, theater, etc. What else do I like? Well, seat views. You get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. So you don't have one of those seats, man, where you're behind a beam at FedEx, because been there already. What else do I like? The lowest price guarantee, or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. So look, do yourself a favor and take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. And again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day long? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program free every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. All right, everybody, let's get back into it. What is the future, and really the present and the future of the point guard position for the Washington Wizards? And it's easy to say that right now Jordan Poole's the guy, and I believe he should be the guy. Now, what is the fit with him and Malcolm Brogdon officially? Because Tyus Jones is his Phoenix son, so that is one domino that has fallen. Right? Malcolm, we know what JP13 can do at the 2 guard. That's not to say that Jordan Poole can't be a 2 guard. He's a scoring-minded guard, man. He's a combo guard who he's scoring-minded. So you know that he's going to score. He's definitely, with his speed, with his ability to attack and transition, to attack the basket, to collapse defenses, to utilize outside shooters, to really attack defenses with his vision. I think that his vision is one area of his game that a lot of people don't talk about. His 3-point shooting. He is a threat offensively. But if you're going to be a point guard, which I think he should, because if you look at between him and Malcolm Brogdon, we need a push in transition. We need a faster team. We were first in pace last year in the second half of the season, and I think we need to continue that trend, which is push to pace, attack teams in transition. Definitely catch defenses off guard and really attack in transition. John Wall, Russell Westbrook, Gilbert Arenas, they made their money attacking teams in transition, speeding the tempo up. And I think that Jordan Poole is going to be the next Wizards point guard. Is going to pick up that trend in DC. But what is the long-term vision? If you look at the contract for Tyus Jones, obviously he has 3 years left. Now, could he very well be part of the future if this front office wants him to be? Absolutely. I would not mind. I'm a big Jordan Poole fan. I think he's a future all-star. I think his game's going to go up from here. I think he's going to have a career season. I think he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder. But looking at his contract, looking at Bub Carrington, looking at the timeline that, these 5 draft picks under Will Dawkins are all 20 or above. None of them can drink. not even the Mickeys. I'm trying to tell you. So timeline may have changed. Now, one indicator that it may have changed is what was the first domino, what Deni Avdija being moved, who at the time 23 years old. So um, can that be an indicator that the timeline could change? Yes and no. Look, every GM has their favorites. Every GM has their set of players on the roster that they inherit, and they may not look at all of them as pieces long term. One GM may look at Deni Avdija and say, yes, he is a future piece. Another GM might come in and say, look, I'm going in another direction, another play style, maybe not. So it all goes off of what his vision is and who he likes, who is currently on the roster. So right now, does it look like the timeline has changed? Yes, but could he look at a player like Corey Kispert? Could he look at a player like Jordan Poole? Could he look at a player like Saddiq Bey and say, look, they're part of the future? He could, because every GM has the players that he likes and doesn't like. And I think that we all know that Deni was a good basketball player, and he liked DC. He was very liked in DC. I thought he was a very humble young man, but here's the thing, he was not untradeable. And while while I may have looked at him as a long-term piece, Will Dawkins may not have. And like I said, we don't know officially what the timeline is. It's speculation right now because right now it hasn't officially been put out. Now, obviously, when we get closer to media day, and then when I can actually get down there and talk to Will Dawkins and some of these guys and really get a clearer picture, I will be able to do so. But right now, it's all speculation. We don't know officially what the timeline is because, like I said, it's all in talent in the NBA is in the eyes of the beholder. One GM may value a player that another GM may not. And then, like I said, most people looked at Deni Avdija, 23 years old, a guy that broke out, a guy that we drafted, and all of that. But to Will Dawkins, he may not have been a future piece. But that doesn't mean that Jordan Poole can't be, or Saddiq Bey can't be, or the list goes on. Or so, like I said, I believe right now the point guard position, the keys have been handed over to Jordan Poole. Now, you can argue that Bub Carrington is definitely the future point guard. Now, can you see a long-term future? Maybe they slide Jordan Poole with Bub Carrington with a couple of shooters, man. You never know. That's a possibility to look at. But right now, for at least, for the next 3 years or until they raise his trade, look, if they don't look at Jordan Poole as a future piece, the biggest thing with him potentially having a career season or having a breakout year this year, it boosts his trade value. So if you don't look at him as a future piece, you can definitely get good value out of Jordan Poole because his age, man, I believe he's a future all-star. And I think that if he can have that breakout campaign, I think he will this season. Because I'm going to go ahead and call it now. I think that him and Kyle Kuzma are going to eat because they're going to be the 1-2 scoring punch and 1-2 scoring options like they were this previous season. And I think that if you want to truly get some value out of these two guys, with them breaking out and having good seasons, especially career seasons scoring-wise, you very well could boost your trade value up and get value for them. But like I said, that right now it's just speculating. That's I truly believe that Kyle Kuzma is going to have a career season at the 3. Now he could go to 4. Like I said, it all comes down to what is the vision as far as the rotation for Brian Keefe. I mean, could there still be moves made? Maybe. I think that more and more we're looking at what the roster is going to look like opening night. But like I said, moves very well can happen. But I think right now you're looking at pretty much a 95% chance that this is going to be the team we're going to roll out with. And like I said, there's still a lot of possibilities. What is the starting 5 really going to be? Like I said, this is a question that we're going to attack this offseason, man. So, what is the starting 5? What is going to, what's the second unit going to look like? A lot of things that I'm definitely going to question getting closer to training camp. But like I said, the future at point guard, I think we're set. Jordan Poole's going to hold it down while we go ahead and develop Bub Carrington. And I think we're in good hands because, you got Jared Butler, who's shown that he can play. So I think we're good at point guard. So it kind of alleviates the pain of losing Tyus Jones because, like I said, Tyus Jones, yes, you would want to get something back for him, but I think that to a certain degree it is addition by subtraction. And I think that looking at the KP trade, did we overvalue him? Yes, but the possibility of getting nothing for him was also a possibility. And getting back to point guard, I think that we're good. I think Jordan Poole is going to hold down the point guard position. He's going to come into the season with a chip on the shoulder, and you're going to see a career season. I think that Bub Carrington is going to he definitely should get his minutes year 1, easy. But they can give him some time to kind of develop. You got a guy in Jared Butler who's shown that he can definitely be that the point guard in the second unit. So it eases a little bit, of that pressure off of Bub Carrington. So the point guard position in DC is secure. I think we're good long term, and I wouldn't get too much, feelings about Tyus Jones leaving for nothing, man, because I think that we're good to go, man, and it should not be, much of an issue, in my opinion, man, because I think we're ready to roll at point guard, man. So, we're going to do a quick break real quick. And then we're going to look at Bilal real quick, and then we're going to call it a night. So, but before we move on and talk about Bilal, I want to talk to you guys about Locked On launching the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. And that's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. All right, everybody, before we roll, we're going to get into my guy, Be Cool. Be Cool, limited action in the Olympics. Now, obviously, France did win their first matchup of the official Olympics against Brazil. Let me pull up the score real quick, 78-66. Now, looking at Bilal, very limited action. So looking at his stat line real quick. Now, Wembanyama and Batum both looked really good against Brazil, both scoring a game-high 19 points. And then Wembanyama also added 9 rebounds, 4 steals, and 3 blocks. So Wembanyama continues to show the future star that he is. But looking at Be Cool, who, again, is another future star, in my opinion, in D.C., played a total of 9 minutes, 3 in the first half and 6 in the second. He recorded 3 points, 2 rebounds, and a block. Now, he was not featured at all in this game. And I get it. Obviously, Wembanyama, Nicolas Batum, Evan Fournier, these are guys who are vested guys, as far as Batum and Fournier. And Wembanyama is also, going to be the headliner as far as the talent leading Team France. But the biggest thing I like about Bilal in his first matchup against Brazil is what we already know he can do at a high level, which is defend. A good block, man. I mean, nice block, man. His prowess on the defensive end, he's going to be good. Like I said, he's good to go on the defensive end. His offense is obviously the part of his game that has to evolve, like Alex Sarr. Both of these guys need their offensive side is going to take time to develop. But I still believe with Alex Sarr, I still think that will Bilal, that when their offense shows up, they're going to be legit 3-and-D two-way players. Like I said, we're going to year 2 of a rebuild. Will Dawkins is cooking like an air fryer. Nothing but time to develop right now. We got vets on the roster who are going to hold it down while these guys develop. You got guys, Kyle Kuzma, Jordan Poole, Jonas Valanciunas, Sadiq Bey when he comes back, guys who are going to hold down the fort. Definitely going to be somewhat, they're going to be entertaining to watch. Let's be real. We might not win more than 25 games, but they're going to be very entertaining to watch because we know that Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole, a couple guys are going to be they're going to score at a high clip. And Jonas Valanciunas, I think he's going to be definitely good. You got Martin back in the third, so you got some vets. Like I said, they're going to hold down the fort while the young bucks get it together. Now, what young guys? But let's get back to Bilal. Like I said, I wouldn't take this performance and say, "Oh, this is indicative of him." This is what we're going to get. He's not going to show too much offensively. I think it had a lot to do with the minutes allotted. He got 9 minutes. And defensively, he got the most out of his 9 minutes. Offensively, he's still very raw. You see the athleticism, especially with him. But we know what he needs to work on. His ball handling. But he's a guy that we saw in at times that he can attack the basket. He can attack the basket through contact. This is a guy who got some dog in him. So I'm not going to take this performance and say it's indicative. You definitely want to see him get a little bit more exposure in the next couple games, and then once they get into the last games as far as the Olympics, man. But I'm not alarmed. But here's the thing: you definitely want to see some progression from Bilal. This offseason. You definitely want to see some progression, especially on the offensive end, man, with rebounding, with his mid-range, and with his 3-point shot and his ball handling. But let's take a look at the future games for Team France, everybody, because like I said, we're here to support Be Cool. So give me a moment, guys, because I just had it, Lord Hammers. All right, so we're going to, I believe it's Tuesday, so let me pull up the schedule. All right, everybody, Tuesday, they are playing Team Japan at 11:15 a.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. So definitely July 30th on Tuesday. Definitely tune in and give your support to Be Cool and the rest of Team France. Also, for you American fans out there, which a majority of us are, Team USA, definitely show your support. But look, man, internationally wise, a lot of good basketball this year in the Olympics, man. So definitely like what I see, man. I'm definitely a bigger fan of the Olympics than I haven't been in the past, and I'm definitely a true believer in FIBA overall as far as international competition. You've seen a lot of high-level basketball. Now, Team USA need to pick it up a little bit, man, because these games are a little closer than you would imagine. But I don't think that shows that lack of talent for Team USA. I think it shows that the broadened talent internationally. International basketball, the talent goes all over the world, man. You got high level all-star players come from every continent at some point in the NBA history. So, like I said, I don't think it shows the lack of talent with Team USA. I think it shows how much talent you have internationally in basketball right now. So, it's good signs, man, for the diversity of NBA and basketball as a sport overall. I will see you guys tomorrow night. And again, oh, man, let me put it down. Tomorrow night, we do have a special guest. We will have Alfonso Rose of the Dirty Bucket Podcast. So definitely looking forward to that interview, man. That's a channel that I definitely recommend, the Dirty Bucket. He's a Wizards fan. He definitely tackles all subjects around the NBA, around association, but definitely he's a Wizards fan. So I'm definitely intrigued to see what his thoughts are on certain things that's happened this offseason with the Washington Wizards. So again, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, we have Alfonso Rose of the Dirty Bucket. So definitely tune in for that. So I will see you guys tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for the interview. Appreciate you guys. Hope everybody had a blessed and safe weekend. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. Hail to the Wizards and peace.